This is the Mercedes-Benz CLA, recently voted European Car of the Year. Now, one of the jurors on that judging panel was our very own Victoria Parrott. She knows what she's talking about. And it's easy to see the appeal, isn't it? This is very much a clean slate approach from Mercedes-Benz. New platform, new motors, new battery, new style.
Hi. Do you remember that time you interrupted my video? I thought today I'd interrupt your video.
Great. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I've got you on Find My Friends. You go to the pub quite a lot. We need to talk about that later. But I brought with me what I think is the best electric saloon that you can buy, which is, of course, the BYD Seal. Now, that car, we all know that's a great car. So I had that for 6 months, did a full long-term report on it, did a full video on it. Those numbers, boom, skyrocketed. Sales, boom,
Nicola,
skyrocketed.
stop.
Because it's a fantastic
car.
Look,
I hate to interrupt your love letter to the BYD Seal, but I feel duty-bound. I have a responsibility to the viewer to say that is a good electric car. In fact, I'd go further and say it is a very good electric car. But this is better. This is the new king in town.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong, Nicola.
Come on then.
I'm right.
Come on.
Okay, right. Be like that then.
Let's go. Let's go. Them's fighting words. Yeah. Oh, subscribe.
I'm going to the pub. Right, come on then. Tell me about the BYD.
Okay, right. Now, here's the thing when it comes to this design.
Yes.
This is by far the better looking of the two. Now, I think that this is very handy that they've both arrived in black today. I know you thought one was coming in red and that's why you put this dressed.
Listen, I have to admit here, the spec sheet of this car said this car was mean Patagonia red.
Yeah.
It's the trousers.
Yes. But actually having them both in black...
It's quite helpful, actually.
Is very helpful when we're looking at them side by side. For me, this sort of real dipped nose and this all around here, the front lights, everything, looks very stylish, very sporty, very angry. Now, I know that your 142 light thing that you've got at the front looks very nice.
142, no less.
Just in case we have actually counted.
Yeah, we counted them, actually.
We did, yeah.
Yes. We didn't use ChatGPT, we actually physically counted them ourselves.
This, I think, looks more executive. This is more fun, sporty times. That
reminds me of it's got a very Porsche look to it, that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But this is very traditional. It's what you'd expect from a Mercedes-Benz, isn't it? There's not a huge amount to it. It's not a memorable design, but it's very kind of showy at the same time. What with all the stars, all of them on the grille. We've got a big one there. We've got another Mercedes badge here. We've got another three-pointed star in the headlamps and even more round the back. It's a bit blingy, isn't it?
Whereas in the BYD, you just have the one badge at the front and one little bit at the back. Understated loveliness. Now, here's where I'm going to give you a compliment.
Okay.
I think your
Stand by your bed.
Your wheel design is probably nicer than my wheel design. You have the smaller wheels. You've got 18-inch wheels. I've got 19 inches.
I think they're nicer.
I think I prefer the design of those.
I prefer those.
Oh, that's interesting.
Of course, cut that out. No, these are better. This is the new king in town, this wheel.
I like the design of those wheels.
Very wheelie.
But when it comes down to the rest of the car, we both have pop-out door handles. You've got a bit of chrome on yours. We don't. Ours is very, very simple.
Yes.
Round the back, we've got a very nice light bar. I just think this is a much nicer looking thing.
Okay, I agree with you. The BYD Seal is the better looking car out of the two.
Good. That's the end of the video. Goodbye.
1, 2, 3, go!
You see, I'm finally starting to convince you, Batch. Right, the Seal comes in rear-wheel drive and dual motor forms, but both come with an 82.5 LFP BYD Blade battery. Now, the battery is even part of the car's structure, so that saves weight and improves how rigid the car is. The rear-wheel drive model can manage 354 miles, while the dual motor is a little bit less with 323 miles. I mean, that was okay when the Seal first launched back in late 2023, but it's a little bit mediocre now, isn't it? The same goes for the charging speeds, as DC maxes out at 150 kilowatts, although there is a rumour that BYD will be updating the Seal very shortly with an 800-volt charging architecture. Very nice.
That's as maybe, Nicola, but in the here and now, the CLA, with EQ technology to give its proper name, absolutely thrashes the Seal. The Mercedes has a similarly sized 85 kilowatt hour battery, but Mercedes has been able to extend the range up to 484 miles. That's thanks to some super efficient motors and that slippery, star-spangled shape. The CLA has an 800 volt architecture and can also charge up to 320 kilowatts, which is more than double the Seal. It means that, on the right charger, a 100-mile top-up will be complete in around 5 minutes. That's something only the BYD can dream about. But there is something I need to tell you about. When the CLA launched, it couldn't be charged up at 400 volt rapid chargers. And when you consider that the majority of chargers in the UK are 400 volt units, that's a bit of a problem. However, Mercedes is supplying a converter to allow Brits to charge their CLAs on 400 volt chargers. And at the time of filming this video, February 2026, cars sold now should have the converter fitted. But before placing your order, I suggest you check with your Mercedes dealer. Otherwise, you could be a bit peeved.
Now back here, it is incredibly spacious. Now I'll be honest with you, when I actually owned this BYD for 6 months, I didn't sit in the back here because you don't normally sit in the back of your own car, do you? However, my mum did, and my mum was like, it's very nice back here because it's incredibly spacious. That is set up for my driving position. I'm 5'6.5", 169 centimetres, you're welcome. And I've got loads of knee room. I can kind of get my feet underneath, but actually the rubber mat that we've got back here is actually quite handy if you've got like muddy dogs and things like that. You've also got a little pocket there. You can put your little phone in there, and then you've got that there. Open that. A couple of cup holders in there. It's lovely. It's nice because you've got panny roof and that's all lovely. In the back you've got a 400 litre boot which actually opens proper saloony rather than a hatch, so it opens proper saloony, so it's quite deep. And then you've got a 53 litre frunk. Well, the interior of this car is simply chef's kiss. Why? Not just because it's got its party trick where you go, oh wow, it can do that. You put it back again. And then you never move it again because Apple CarPlay doesn't work like that. So I don't actually know anyone that lives with it like that, but it can do that if you want it to. But you also have nice wireless charging, cup holders in here, storage in here, nice design here, nice gear selector, beautiful. Then you've got your screens, which personally, I'm a dark mode kind of girl, so I moved it to dark mode. You can also change your themes. Sometimes you can put it on water. I don't normally tend to put it on the water one because it makes me need to go for a wee. So I'll just put it on planets, like that. Stunning. All of this down here, customizable. So you can basically just hold everything down and move it around to how you want things to be. Same with what's going on down here. If you want your heated seats further away, closer to you, not a problem. You can also pick whichever ones you want down there. It's all utterly brilliant. And do you know what's also great? The voice control. Every time. Every time. Hey BYD.
Yes?
Open my window.
All right.
Every time. Every single time. She gets it right. She listens, she gets it right. You don't get that in the Mercedes. That doesn't work every time, but this one does. The one annoying thing does is that she keeps listening, so you have to kind of press the X to stop her from listening sometimes. But that's fine. You've also got very nice materials. Now this is a design version, so this isn't full top spec, but the design of everything in here and the materials are all very nice. Here's something that I noticed, which is very niche when I drove the car for 6 months, is this bit here is very squish and you can use it as a bit of a stress ball. So you can, if you get angry with someone, you can basically go, yeah! And it feels really nice. So that is my tip from me to you. Good. That's everything. Good, nice materials. That's all plastic in the Mercedes. It's not in here.
Now, don't tell Nicola, but the BYD is better in the back than the CLA. Now, the main reasons for that is, well, the space. The door opening isn't very wide at all. If you're loading child seats, you're going to want the BYD, not the CLA. Also, the roofline is so low in this car. Now, I'm about 5'11" when I'm feeling confident, okay? That seat is set up in my driving position, and you wouldn't say I've got tons of space back here, would you? Now, I can't put my feet underneath the seat in front of me, and the angle of my legs is really uncomfortable. I feel really hemmed in back here. Not only that, but headroom isn't especially good either. A couple of 6-footers are going to really struggle for space. Also, you're not going to fit 3 people back here, which is a shame because there's a flat floor, giving the impression there's loads of space back here, but there isn't. You can't fit 3 people along here at all. Now, there is some good news, however. There's the boot, that's around 405 litres. It's better shaped. The opening is bigger than the BYD. The seats also split 40-20-40. It's a better boot all round compared to the Seal. There's also a 101 litre frunk up front. Now, the interior of the CLA, oh my goodness me, what a different vibe to the BYD Seal. I'm not an enormous fan, I have to say. Now, every single CLA comes with this 14-inch screen here. You get your digital dials. The top spec car gets the MBUX super screen, so you get another screen over there. And I don't know, I'm not really digging this whole black plastic flat dashboard. I think if you had the third screen, it would just feel as though you're sitting in the electrical department in John Lewis. It's just a bit too much, isn't it? One thing I do like is this sort of pinstripey kind of material on here. Now, the AMG line cars, which is the mid-level car, gets this white and black combo. It looks very smart, looks very modern. However, this interior to me just reeks of cost cutting, okay? Check out these air vents. These plastics down here. Plastics on the wireless charger. And over here, it seems like Mercedes-Benz have fallen down the Volkswagen rabbit hole, which is cost cutting with the electric window buttons. Now, you don't get 4 electric window buttons. Oh no, you just get 2. To operate the rear ones, you have to press a button that says rear. Why? Cost cutting. That can be the only reason. I don't know, this just doesn't come across as an interior that befits a £50,000 car.
Now, you might not be in the market for a brand new electric saloon car like the CLA and the Seal, but don't worry, as Electrifying can help. Our used car listings page on electrifying.com has loads of different models, with each listing coming with handy info like battery health checks. You can check out the listings by scanning the QR code on the screen.
It's all very simple when choosing your BYD Seal. There is the design that is unbelievably well equipped, but only comes with the rear-wheel drive motor. And then there's the excellence, which adds a few more gizmos like vehicle to load, but only comes with the dual motor form, with a whopping 530 horsepower. That'll do.
In years 10 or 12.
I pressed mode. Wow, that's good. Batch has been driving this car, and he obviously set the volume on this, and he clearly is deaf or something. I don't know. Also, he's got it in eco mode. Like, who does that? What a weirdo. Woo! Right. This is way more gentle than what I was used to when it came to the long-term version that I had. So the version that I had was the all-wheel drive excellence version, which has over 500 horsepower and will do 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds. They are so proud of that number that they stick that on the back of the car. Now, this is not that version. This is the design. So this is a single motor version, and this is still pretty oomphy, I can't lie. This will still do 0 to 62 in 5.9 seconds. That's still pretty blooming quick, and it feels great. What I like about this car is where, yes, there is quite a lot of power behind it, especially when it comes to the all-wheel drive version, but even this version here, there's quite a lot of oomph behind it. But it's given to you in a very polite manner. So when you put your foot down, it's like it kind of goes, oh, there's your speed. You're welcome. And I like that about this car. I mean, this is ever so slightly firmer than what you've got in the Mercedes. I mean, the dampers in the Mercedes are actually quite nice. In this, it feels a bit more sporty, a bit more kind of the kind of car that's supposed to be driven to have a lot of fun in. And you will. You will have fun in this car. Also, visibility in here is actually really nice. I think for me, so my current long-term at the moment is the Polestar 4, and the visibility in that isn't that great. So sitting back in this now is actually very nice. I am enjoying this experience. I really am. Steering, you can change the levels of steering. For me, I like it quite sporty. Go for a big puddle. Oh, Manos won't be happy with that because that's going to make the car filthy. Never mind. But the steering has got a really nice bit of weight to it, so you feel like you're in complete control of the car. You feel completely connected to the wheels, and I am a big fan of that. It's just great. It really is. It soaks up the lumps and bumps really well, even though it is a little bit firmer than the Mercedes. It does soak up everything really well. And it's just got the right amount of power. I mean, if you don't want that super sporty, super crazy version, this will still put a smile on your face. Believe you me, it absolutely will. I mean, in terms of efficiency, you'll maybe get, God, what was I getting when I was in the all-wheel drive? I was still in sort of like the mid-3s. I mean, this rear-wheel drive version will be slightly more efficient because you're not using two motors, so this will be a little bit more efficient. So you'll be getting sort of about 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour in this, which is fairly good. I am aware that the Mercedes is more efficient than this, but this is still very good. This is good. One thing as well that I'll tell you that I really like about this car is the bing bongs are not too intrusive. You know, you drive lots of different cars, well I do, drive lots of different cars, and all of them have the new sort of ADAS system set in, which means that if you're driving over the speed limit, then you'll get the bing bongs come in, even if you're going like 1 or 2 miles an hour over, which you can occasionally do by mistake, and then it will bing bong at you. Whereas in here, it's more of like a, oh, just a little, oh, just a heads up, you're going a bit fast. That's kind of how it does it. Rather than going, excuse me, slow down, which can be a bit patronising, can't it? This is more, would you like to slow down, calm down, please? And I go, oh, okay, that's nice. So after living with this for 6 months, I obviously, very clearly, fell in love with this car. But then the joys of being an automotive journalist means you get your 6 months with your car and then you hand it back and you're given something else to review, right? So it has been a long time since I've driven this. It's been a good sort of 4 months, 3-4 months since I've driven this. And now I'm back in it. I've realised how much I miss it. I do. I don't miss those indicators.
What is that all about? Can you hear that? Horrible. Typically, as this is a Mercedes, the trim range is a lot more complicated than the Seals, but it's simple to understand the powertrain lineup because there's only one. Coming along later, there will likely be a smaller batteried CLA 250 and a CLA 350 with twin electric motors. But for now, this CLA 250 Plus gets a 272 horsepower motor on the back axle, giving a 0 to 62 mile an hour acceleration time of 6.7 seconds.
Do you know what? You can tell just from the first few yards that this is a well-sorted car. And if you're familiar with Mercedes' earlier electric car efforts, such as the EQE and the EQC, then be prepared to be shocked because this does not drive like those cars at all. Now let's talk about the ride. Now on this AMG line car, we've got 18-inch wheels, and at very low speeds, you can feel a little bit of pattering through the suspension. It just doesn't feel, it feels a little bit jittery. But as soon as you quicken the pace, you get a little bit of movement into the suspension. The ride quality in this car is lovely. It's in this area where the CLA really has the advantage over the Seal. The Seal feels very rigid all of the time. This has got a nice float and nice balance to it. It really kind of wafts along, much like how you'd expect a Mercedes-Benz to drive. Even with big undulations in the road and scarrings and potholes, it tends to glide over them really in a very sophisticated way. Not only that, but the steering on this car is very nice indeed. The BYD feels a little bit more agile, a bit more keen to turn into a corner, but this isn't far off at all. It's got a really nice balance between comfort and kind of sporty, engaging handling. Another sensation I get from driving the CLA is it feels light. It doesn't feel lumpen and heavy and kind of awkward to drive. It just feels light, floaty, comfortable. Again, exactly how you'd expect a Mercedes-Benz to feel, and it really does kind of close the door on those earlier Mercedes-Benz EV that didn't feel any of those things in my mind. I like the brake regeneration in this car. I'm normally more of a fan of having paddles behind the steering wheel, or flappy flapperoonies, like Nicola likes to say sometimes. It's a lot easier to use in the BYD. In the Seal, you have to dive into the screen, whereas here you've got you can control it from the stalk here. So when you push it away from you, you've got intelligent recuperation. So that's where the car is working out what's going on in front of you and then tweaks and adjusts the recuperation accordingly. Or when you pull it towards you, you can change to normal recuperation and then strong recuperation, where it's one pedal driving. I like that. Brilliant around town, that. Big fan of that indeed. Let me just talk to you about efficiency for a moment. Haven't done a proper test, but today it's around kind of 10 degrees, January, it's pretty cold and windy. We've been seeing around 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. It's not brilliant, you would expect better, but I would imagine on a much warmer day in the summer, you could be getting close to what Mercedes claims, which is around 5 miles per kilowatt hour. I think if you do a lot of motorway driving, you will prefer the CLA over the Seal. It tends to get a little bit more efficient on the motorway, and that's probably due to the 2-speed gearbox this car has. Now, this 2-speed gearbox, normally in an EV you get a 1-speed box. It's not the first car to get a 2-speed gearbox. We've seen this in the Porsche Taycan, but whereas in the Taycan the 2-speed gearbox is more designed for performance and outright speed, the second gear in this is more designed for efficiency. Now, just cruising along, and that's what you tend to do in this car, kind of cruising and wafting along, floating along the road surface. I think it is a very nice car to drive. I even like all the screens. Now, I know I bemoaned that earlier on. I don't like the way they look, but they are very easy to use on the move. This MBUX system, the latest version of Mercedes infotainment systems, it is very easy to use. It looks good, and you've got these digital dials in front of you, very crisp, very clear, and it just kind of all works very well. There are a couple of things which I don't like, which have sort of materialised while I've been driving. Firstly, it's the seat. I don't know, the seat feels very kind of thin. It doesn't feel very squidgy and supportive. In the Seal, you sit in a big kind of armchair, whereas in the CLA, you just don't get that. Another thing I'm not too keen on are these touch-sensitive buttons. They look nice, but in the real world, they are annoying to use. Whenever I'm turning the steering wheel, I tend to find I'm adjusting the volume because it's right exactly where my palm tends to sit. And the other thing are the door mirrors. They are absolutely minuscule, but I suppose when you are chasing outright efficiency, the size of your door mirrors is important, but not quite so good when you're turning right and you want to see what's behind you. Okay, so we need to give a little bit of context about where these cars sit. So the equivalent Tesla Model 3, premium long range, 410 miles, costs around £50,000. Then there's the Polestar 2, which is the long-range single motor, around 406 miles. That's about £49,000. So these two cars are competing in the same kind of area, aren't they?
It's interesting, isn't it, when you start talking about pricing? Because I never would have thought that I would put a Mercedes up against a Chinese car.
I know.
You would just always assume that that would be the more expensive car. So you can see what Mercedes have done by knocking down their prices to make sure that they can squeeze into that kind of market where a lot of the Chinese brands are sitting, right? And you can see where they've cut some costs within the interior to try and make it a little bit cheaper. Now, this version here is just over 45 grand. If you go for the all-wheel drive, the performance version, the one that goes 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds, that's just over £48,000. But entry level of that is £100 cheaper than this.
Yeah, and the entry range car has the longest range, 483 miles. So
Oh God, that's a lot of miles. That's a good extra 100 on top of this.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's the point, isn't it? Which is why I think the CLA, if you've got your sensible trousers on, which I clearly haven't, but if you do have your sensible, you've got to go for the Mercedes.
It's very good. It's a very good car. And I think for the price, putting them side by side, it's pretty fantastic what you're getting for your money there.
So the CLA's
Yeah.
the winner.
I didn't say that.
Can I? I know you absolutely adore the BYD.
I do.
But this is the better car. I'm glad you've come round to my way of thinking.
Those were not my. I didn't
Well, that's
say
where
those
you were
words.
going. That's where you were going.
They
You
didn't-
knew I was right.
Didn't come out.
I'm
of my
glad
mouth.
you've turned up and ruined my video, actually, because you've just clarified my point. This is the better car.
Speaking of money, by the way, you owe me a tenner.
Oh.
Pub.
Has anyone got a tenner?